I gotta move when I talk. So I was like, I really hope that thing comes off. Otherwise, I'm gonna be walking around with this whole podium. How great were those two? I just loved it. I loved it. I could listen to Krista all day because basically what she says, I say. And then Rachel, like, I kind of knew, like, all the things she said, but to hear from an expert's like, oh, okay, good, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. I'm kind of on track here. So I'm Kathy Fritz. I'm your hormone coach. And so we had metabolism, we had self-care and the trickle down. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the midlife body and why we need to do self-care as it relates to stress. That word, the S word, stress. So I used to be an English teacher, and that means that I always think back to the text that I used to teach. And one of the first ones I taught was A Tale of Two Cities. Anyone read it? Do you remember it really, really well? Okay, good, because other than my title, I don't really have anything else to do with that book. I'm going to tell you a tale of two women, okay? So, Tamila and Annabelle. They're in their late 30s. They work really, really hard. Tamila is a financial advisor, and let's say Annabelle is a chiropractor, okay? So they both have clients, they're working hard in their fields, and they both noticed that something is just a little off. They're not sleeping so well. They used to just have like 1 cup of coffee a day. Now they're like, oh, I'll just have one more. Oh, it's 2 o'clock, I think I need a cup of coffee. So one more coffee, right? They've noticed like their mental sharpness just isn't quite there as much. But you know, that could just be, you know, they have a lot going on in their lives. So they decide they're gonna do what they've always done, and they are gonna like dig down and eat a lot of salad, and they are gonna exercise more when they find some free time. And you know what? They both tried meditation and gave it up. Yep. Tried it for 2 days, did the and it didn't work for them. So they gave it up. So let's fast forward a little. They're in their mid-40s now. Things are still a little off. In fact, things feel more off. They've noticed that their midsections are becoming more like happily and less like, you know, they liked it to be. And the things they would do in their 20s to lose weight aren't working. In fact, they seem to be gaining weight. That's really annoying because that's not how it's supposed to be. When they think about how they were tired when they were 37, they chuckle. They tap their 37-year-old self on the head. Girl, you didn't know what tired was. This is tired. Okay? Intimacy with their partners, yeah, that's a no-go. Where's the energy for that? Especially when their partners are so annoying, right? They're always snapping at their partners. Not literally snapping, but you know what I mean. Both women are really feeling hopeless. In fact, when they talked to their doctors about it, they said, sorry, this is midlife. Get used to it. But I have good news. Just like in A Tale of Two Cities, where London and Paris have different experiences, Tamila and Annabelle are going to have different experiences. Tamila decides she's had enough. In fact, she says to a friend, someone's got to help me. I can't keep living like this. So she finds practitioners, including yours truly, who educate her about the midlife body and how the midlife body is different from the reproductive body, and that body needs different types of care. I explained to her about the normal drop in progesterone that happens. It's normal. And then that estrogen fluctuates month to month. It's normal. But it's like riding a wild bronco. So just because it's normal doesn't mean it's easy. I teach her about something called insulin resistance. For the first time, she hears about this and starts to understand how that essential hormone, insulin, impacts weight. The standard American diet actually encourages insulin resistance. And guess what? As we creep toward menopause, it's even easier to get insulin resistant. Woo, winning, right? So Tamila's all, I think I'll pass on that. It's like, great, let's pass on that. We also talked about the stress hormone cortisol. and how that impacts insulin and also encourages that insulin resistance. And I told her, your stress hormone is super duper high all the time. Now we do want our stress hormone to be high, but only when we're being chased by a lion, okay? and really there are no lions these days. But we kind of feel like we're constantly being chased by a lion because we have this residual stress that's just high. We have work stress, we have partnership stress, we have family stress, we have taking care of parents stress, right? And it just keeps that cortisol high. So our bodies were made lion chasing, cortisol spike. Climb a tree, safe from lion, cortisol goes down. But we're living with our cortisol all up here, okay? That's not a good way to live. That doesn't feel good. Our bodies don't have a perceived stress hormone, an actual stress hormone. They just have lion chasing me hormone, okay? So Tamila changes her eating habits. She changes her movement. But most importantly, she starts to take self-care and stress management seriously. Meditation was never really her thing. So she discovers journaling, a little stream of consciousness writing. That really works well for her. And she commits every day to 5 minutes of self-care, just 5, but she is on board with it. She does it. And I teach her a tool called tapping, and it's a tool that really works well for her. So she starts to do that too. And I'm happy to report that Tamila's stress is being managed. She's sleeping through the night for 8 whole hours. Truth, girls, truth. She feels like she has good energy throughout the whole day, but at night, she can fall asleep with no problem. She and her romantic partner are reconnected. She's lost 15 pounds without dieting, without counting her calories. But most importantly to me and to her, she's looking at midlife in a whole new way. She's looking at it with hope, with excitement, and that is so important. Now I don't have the same things to tell you about Annabelle. Poor Annabelle. She decided, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. But now when Annabelle tries to get up in the morning, she feels like a hand is pushing her back into bed. Annabelle doesn't recognize the woman in the mirror. That woman is 35 pounds overweight. She looks 10 years older, and it looks like she hasn't smiled in years. Her insomnia is debilitating. She is very unhappy, and she feels like a fraud. She's like, how can I take care of my chiropractic patients when I can't even take care of myself? Annabelle's story is not unique, and it might even sound a little bit like yours, but that is not where it has to end. You can make changes like Tamila did and get her story. The most important change is self-care. I know you're shocked. So in the Metro West Facebook group, I uploaded this colorful handout. And I'll leave it up here too if you want to just take a picture later, because sometimes that's easier. And in it, I've just created 4 simple steps, all right? If every woman in here does these 4 simple steps, you're going to be on your way to better self-care. Start with 5 minutes a day. That's it, 5 minutes a day. Make sure you look forward to it. Whatever you decide as your self-care, make sure you actually want to do it, because you can't make yourself do self-care that's not fun. That's just not going to work. Make sure it's 1 step. So don't have your self-care routine be like a multi-step thing. Make sure it's just 1 step that you do. And then commit. Don't give up after 2 days. All right, give it a try for 2 weeks. Say, I'm going to commit to this. For me, tell your family. Tell the people you live with. Okay, I need these 5 minutes. They're for me. They're to help me. Okay, they'll be on board. They want you to be happier. They want you to be nicer to them, okay? Also on this sheet, I have a list of ideas for you. I encourage my clients to have a few different ideas that work well for them and kind of rotate through. But if you find one that every day you're psyched about, go for it, do it. There's also a little QR code down here. If you want to scan that, you can get my action guide and get a little bit more help. And then I have to talk about the image. Now remember, old English teacher here, love my symbolism. Okay, I saw this image, I was like, yes, this is perfect. Okay? The fact is, ladies, we are all this bottom rock. We all have things that we are balancing. There is no way to change that. Okay? But you get to decide what kind of bottom rock you are. Are you this sturdy bottom rock that's totally holding up these other rocks, no problem? Are you like Tamila? Or are you like Annabelle, and you're all wobbly, and you're afraid those rocks are gonna come crashing down on your head? You get to pick, okay? And the easiest way to do that is to start with just some basic self-care. What you do during perimenopause will absolutely impact your menopause. And anyone who is postmenopausal, I see you, you can still make changes. And you can still do things that are gonna impact positively your day-to-day experience. As you enter whatever your next phase and stage is, I want you to be at optimal function. What I mean by that, to go back to my other panelists, you want your metabolism to be in a good place. You want to already have really solid self-care that then trickles down to the people who are living in your house. So if you've been dealing with stubborn belly fat that won't go away even though you eat well, if you're tired all day, if you have digestive issues, inflammation, if you can't fall asleep or stay asleep, if you can't concentrate, if you have like these crazy cravings, I want you to know there's a solution for all of these symptoms, okay? It's natural food, daily low impact movement, and self-care. You knew it was coming. All right, thank you very much, everybody.